Welcome to Desert Voices, the podcast from AARP Arizona, where we amplify real conversations and trusted information for adults 50 plus across our state. I'm your host, Dana Marie Kennedy, and today we're tackling an issue that affects nearly every family: fraud and scams targeting older adults. Scams are evolving fast: phone calls, emails, texts, even people showing up at your door. The good news: knowledge truly is power. Today, we're joined by a fraud expert from the FBI, a free resource designed to help people spot scams, avoid losses, and get help if they've been targeted. Troy Cofer, thank you for joining us. Before we dive in, can you briefly explain what is your role at the FBI and why it matters so much right now, especially for older adults?
Thank you, Dana. Yes, my name is Troy Cofer. I'm a special agent with the FBI out of the Phoenix division. I currently actually oversee the financial crime squad. So we cover complex financial crimes, anything fraud related. And a big part of why we always try to get the message out there is we know criminals target individuals, senior citizens more often than any other age group. So anytime we can kind of get some knowledge out to anyone, but specifically seniors, we always look at that as a preventative way as opposed to hearing it on the back end when they've potentially been victimized.
And what are the most common or emerging scams you're seeing right now that specifically target adults 50 plus?
So we see a ton of scams related to romance scams is continues to be a very prevalent one. People that are seeking some type of partnership, companionship, anything that just talking to another individual. When we do see that unsolicited contact come through text messages, phone calls, emails, that continues to be a really big one that specifically targets the senior population. Additionally, general investment type scams is almost number one on our list through IC3 and through some of the metrics that we track. And that could be they have the latest and greatest stock tip or a cryptocurrency tip or a Forex tip, something that's going to promise pretty sizable returns. And individuals that are in retirement, maybe they're looking to bolster their retirement accounts. We do see bad actors continually trying to go after those individuals because they do have some liquidity and some assets available to them. They're trying to seize on those and then move forward with some type of scam. Those two are by far the biggest one we see kind of targeting the senior population, though.
Why do you think romance scams are such like one of the top scams? Why do you think people fall for that?
Well, we just had Valentine's Day not too long ago, and obviously everyone is, a lot of times people are looking for love, right? Or they're looking for that partnership, companionship, whatever it might be. We do know this population sometimes, unfortunately, could be widowed. They may have lost their significant other. And they're looking for some type of human interaction, or in some cases, so they think they're looking for human interaction. We do know behind the scenes, these bad actors sometimes they're just using computer actual generated bots or AI or something that's not even a real human, but may come across as a human. We know they'll text people or email people daily and say, good morning, how are you? And to some people, they are just looking for that level of interaction, if you will. Sometimes the pitch doesn't come as far as they need money early on. Maybe it's a couple weeks or even months that they're just growing that relationship, building rapport with them, building confidence that this is real. The one thing I always like to say is it's not real because you're never ever going to meet this person actually in person. You won't meet them face to face. It will always be some type of persona behind the scenes or behind a computer.
Wow. So, AARP often talks about red flags and what people should listen to or watch out for when a scam is unfolding. what are some of those red flags?
The biggest red flag that I could put out there to anyone is really going to be unsolicited type contact. And
Okay.
so it may come through text messages, it could come through phone calls, it could come through emails. But the biggest red flag out from any other one is going to be that unsolicited type contact, followed up typically then by something that they want you to act or engage in some level of conversation. If it's your computer or your Amazon account's got a virus or is affected, they're looking for that level of engagement with you to try to talk to you. And that will lead down a myriad of different paths or things that they're looking for. But it truly comes back to biggest red flag, some type of unsolicited contact, and then that continued type of contact or engagement in some level of communication.
And do they usually pressure them or, ask them to take action like right away? Is there anything that they do about that?
Yes, most bad actors or criminals, they are looking for you to make a decision rather quickly. They don't want you to be able to think through what you might be doing. So think of a high pressured sales tactic, if you will. They
Hmm.
want you to give the money before you can fully think through what is going on, or they'll give you limited information about how great an investment opportunity might be, and then they want you to act on potentially liquidating your retirement account in very short order. And you think of, you've built up over the course of your career, your professional career, or your life, you've built up your 401k or retirement savings. Now someone wants you to make a decision on that in a matter of minutes sometimes. And so they definitely do really try to put more pressure, or hey, it's an exclusive opportunity. If you don't act now, you're not going to be able to get in on it, or some way of trying to entice you that you need to send money or engage with them much more sooner rather than later.
And do they tell you like not to tell anybody, about anything that they're doing or asking for?
More often than not, they try to make it that exclusivity and try to make
Mhm.
it secret. We do know with some types of scams, especially government impersonation type scams, where they're fraudulently acting like they are the government. They really stress on do not tell your friends, do not tell your family. Even if the real law enforcement comes to talk to you, don't even tell them. And that's a way for them to try to continue the fraud. And even if law enforcement reaches out, that they can try to alleviate that and say, well, they're not real, I'm the real law enforcement. So we absolutely do see them trying to make this be more secretive and essentially isolate victims than allow them to talk about it freely.
Yeah, that's really concerning. That they're trying to like build this relationship with somebody that they don't even know. What about gift cards? How do they use gift cards? Because I hear about gift card scams a lot.
So we see gift card scams kind of used in a variety of different ones. Even your basic investment scam, your government impersonation scam, your romance scam. What they will sometimes try to do is call you and say, hypothetically, if there's a government impersonation scam and that you have a warrant for your arrest, but a way to get out of that warrant is if you go down to your local market or gas station, convenience store, and get $500, $1,000, some denomination of gift cards, and then they ask you that you read the actual gift card number off the back of it to them. That would essentially take away your warrant or any complications that you have from a legal standpoint. It is a way for them to try to use funds and a level of concealment. It's not coming directly from your bank to their bank. You go and you purchase gift cards. Once you give that gift card number to them, we typically see them utilize that within a matter of minutes, if not seconds, to then move those funds into whether they're purchasing goods or trading the gift card on some type of online platform. But it's a way to really kind of conceal that. And for them, it's usually a quick 500, 1,000, 1,500. amount of dollars that they can get, and it's very difficult for law enforcement to try to end up tracing who that gift card actually went to, how it was
Mhm.
used, and then what it ultimately was used for.
Got it. And I hear a lot about crypto ATM scams, and we've actually worked on legislation. How does that scam work?
On the crypto ATM, we see this very big, and thankfully Arizona has passed some legislation in that, and other states have passed some as well. Crypto ATMs or Bitcoin ATMs specifically would be very, very cautious when anyone tells you, "Oh, please go put your money into one of these." It effectively is looking for a individual to get a wallet address, go to an ATM, say they want to deposit money into that wallet address, and then they're feeding just cash into it. We have yet to see any real legitimate type investments or entities that use this exact type process to actually get investment dollars. We do see this exclusively or almost exclusively with bad actors as a way to get straight cash into their wallet, and then we typically see it move on throughout the blockchain and virtual assets as well. I can't caution people enough that make sure you know specifically who you are actually sending money for, what you're sending money for, and then why you are sending money, and be very, very wary anything related to a Bitcoin ATM. Again, the legislation isn't strong enough quite yet. Other states have made it a bit stronger, and we're hoping Arizona can even make it a little bit more, where you have to go through a lot of different checkboxes, disclaimers
Mhm.
on what you're actually doing. Until
Mhm.
we get there, I just can't stress enough, be extremely cautious if anyone asks you to deposit money in a Bitcoin ATM.
Yeah, I think Indiana just recently passed Bitcoin ATMs. They basically are no longer going to be able to do that type of
Yes.
transfer.
Yeah.
So maybe one day,
We might
but
get there here in Arizona. Exactly.
we'll keep working on it. And what about wire transfers or gold? How does that work?
So on wire transfers, we see these as one of the more common one, whether it's a traditional wire or ACH, any type of electronic transfer.
Mhm.
They basically are embedded in any of the type of frauds that we typically see. And that's going to be when someone is just requesting you to send money, and they're usually giving you an account, a routing number, an account name that you're not going to know. It's going to be completely foreign to you, and they're just saying, please send it here because X, Y, and Z. I can't caution someone enough to kind of really know who is the one making the request, and then why are they making that request. Some of the type of scams, within romance scams, as an example, we'll tend to see people say they're trapped on an oil rig and they don't have access to a financial institution. So, hey, so and so is going to send you money, and then can you forward the money on to a different account? From the law enforcement side, we know this is really just another tool used by criminals to basically launder proceeds. You're
Mhm.
using an individual's legitimate bank account to conceal the source of the money and then where the money is headed to. So always be very, very cautious when someone is trying to giving you a new account or something to send it to. Really understand why. And then on
Yeah.
your question about gold, we have saw an uptick of gold, precious metals, as opposed to people sending money through wires, which does have a little bit more of an electronic trail, if you will. And so law enforcement can run down a few more things with that. Gold, precious metals, not so much. And so we have saw that uptick going to be, please liquidate this account, or please do a large withdrawal, go down to your local precious metals or gold dealer and purchase gold. And then we do see a lot of people actually physically going to someone's home to pick up that gold. And a lot of times they'll give the individual on the other side a passcode or passphrase that the courier, the one that's coming to the home to pick up the gold, to try to legitimize this transaction. But usually it is just a person that answered an ad online or is not fully aware of what part of the role of the scam that they're in. And so they're going to someone's home. They know they're going to be picking up a box, and then they'll receive further instructions after that. But don't ever, give someone that you don't know, give them your physical address. That means they're coming to your actual home where you live, and then you're going to be giving them. And we see this scam go up into the millions sometimes, just with the amount of gold that's being requested, or the amount of funds that people are liquidating their accounts for.
Wow, that is so scary. Can we talk a little bit about prevention and what are practical steps people can take to protect themselves?
Absolutely. First and foremost, we know the unsolicited contact is the number one way that people are getting connected to individuals, specifically seniors. So when you get those text messages that you don't recognize the individual, you don't recognize the number, you don't recognize the material of what it is, do not respond. Do not click on the links. Don't send anything back to them. Best advice would be to just go ahead and actually delete that particular text message, report it as spam, or something along those lines to try to just have those get out of your system. On email, we do see a lot of unsolicited contact there, and that could be you've won a prize, your PayPal account's locked out, your Amazon account's locked out, you've won a sweepstakes, anything of those where it's not something that you would be expected. Again, unsubscribe, delete, mark as spam. Preventative wise, that is going to be the number one way that you can try to prevent yourself from getting caught up in one of these type scams. Secondarily, I would say it's going to be, if you do click on something or you do respond, is just think through what they're actually asking an individual, yourself, to do. If they're saying, I've got this great tip and it's going to be a 25-30% return in a matter of days, just think through logically how that sounds. We know the stock market over the course of decades of time produces sizable returns for the most part, but there's very few things that are a sure thing. Criminals do look at this as more of a sure thing type investment, and that's why they entice people, because they're getting really good returns in a very short period of time. But when you step back and think through how that would logically sound and how realistic it does not actually sound, that is an area of opportunity, I would say, of prevention, of just making sure you understand where the money's going. And then on the third basis, who the money's going to. It goes back to what I talked about when people work their entire lives for their retirement savings. Those are years upon years of money you've saved for yourself, your family, your loved ones, whatever it might be that you're going to use that for. These people are going to come to you, give you a pitch of something that's promising these returns, and then look for you to make that decision in a matter of minutes, hours, or a few days. Think of what you spent your entire life for. Now you're making a decision that could potentially liquidate that all in a few short minutes. So really understand what this is. Also, there's very few things that are a sure thing. And so anytime you see those buzzwords of guaranteed or exact profit, anything like that, really question what it actually is. There's, again, very few things that are guaranteed, especially when it comes to something speculative, investment wise, and really understand what it is that you are potentially investing in. Is there an indices that you can look at on a known website that you can follow, that you can track, as opposed to just the website that maybe someone's pointing you to it? So be very, very weary when someone reaches out and just says, hey, I've got this amazing opportunity for you, but I need 10,000, 100,000, or whatever amount of money they're looking for. Be extremely cautious of what that might be or what that might turn into.
And what if somebody feels that they've been scammed? What should they do?
So if they believe that they are a victim, there's different levels of victimization. So first off, if you do believe you're in immediate danger, death or serious physical injury, always encourage people to dial 911. If they believe that their life truly is in danger, 911 is the place to go. If it's something that they recently made a bank transfer or sent out a wire or ACH, contact your bank. Ask your bank to do a freeze request or a hold or recall that wire or that particular transfer in an effort to try to stop the money from going out of your account. On the actual FBI side, we utilize what we call IC3, which stands for Internet Crime Complaint Center. And we ask that people would make a filing there. They can do that filing through www.ic3.gov is what that is. If they're not comfortable with the computer, they can call 1-800-CALL-FBI, and you will be connected to an operator that can assist you with an intake or report taking. If you're a little unsure of how to navigate that, the Department of Justice, through the Elder Fraud Initiative, also does have a Elder Fraud National Hotline. That number is 833-FRAUD-11, and someone will be able to assist you with intaking that report if you believe you've been a victim or been victimized by someone, and can kind of guide you along those way. At ic3.gov, there also is some additional resources, tips, articles that can help individuals navigate and see similar stories. If they believe it fits what happened to them, then it might maybe substantiate that it was a fraud or a fraud scheme that they have unfortunately were part of as well.
That's great information. Thank you so much, Troy. So scammers count on silence and shame, but knowledge and conversation are our strongest defenses. If something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts and reach out. Visit aarp.org/fraud network. That's aarp.org/fraud watch network, or call 1-877-908-3360 to speak with a trained fraud specialist. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend, neighbor, or loved one. Thank you for listening to Desert Voices. Stay safe and stay informed.